Hey guys, how's it going? It's your host Izzy and welcome back to LOBO Podcast. Now today's podcast is going to be a little different from our regular podcasts. This time I'm going to use this podcast to go over our English department, but more specifically, the English 120 class. But first, a few announcements for UNM. Congratulations to all graduating LOBOs! UNM fall commencement ceremonies will be set for December 15th and 16th with speakers James B. Lewis and Pamela Agol. The graduate ceremony will be on December 15th at 6 p.m. for doctoral and master's degree candidates. Undergraduate ceremony will be on the 16th at 6 p.m. for bachelor's and associate degree candidates. So let's go out and support our fellow LOBOs, and if you're graduating, try and not be late. In other news-wise, Pizzerino, or also known as The Pit, has celebrated their 50th anniversary this year, having played their first opponent, Abilene Christian, with television coverage on Root Sports. Since 1966 to 2016, 840 games have been played, with 697 of those games being LOBO wins. Congratulations, and here's to more games and hopefully more victories for UNM. Not only that, but our own Popejoy Hall is also celebrating their 50th anniversary, starting plans in the 1960s with completion of the project in 1965, with the first concert on October 1st, 1966. Since then, many shows, productions, and concerts have been hosted at the hall, with The Lion King having recently concluded their month-long production. Now, as we're getting to the end of the semester, remember to get your schedule planned for next semester and anything else technical that you need to finish before completely shutting down for the holidays. Now, back to our scheduled topic. Now, the topic for today's podcast is, how will English 120 help me learn to write or compose? Now, I know what you're thinking. Isn't this the problem for the English 120 class? Yes it is. But I wanted to share my thoughts and experiences with you so that you can come to enjoy literature like I do, and to encourage our viewers to continue school and try to enjoy it as much as they can. That, and so I can use this for my final assignment. Sorry, not sorry. Now back to our topic. How will English 120 help me learn to write or compose? As obvious as it sounds, this class will help me and others to further develop our writing skills so that we will be able to better communicate with others, and so that we can pass this class and hopefully continue writing other grade A worthy essays. Not only that, but it's also an important way of communication as we dwell further in time. With the rise of the internet and social media, if you can't successfully interpret your thoughts, let alone write it out properly, then you'll be cast as less than to society. In other words, girl, you need to figure out all of these sentences and what you're trying to think, because a lot of the time you be looking like a fool if you have constant spelling errors and if what you typed up just doesn't make sense. So get on that. Taking this class will be nothing but helpful for everyone. Through the semester, you'll learn how to collect valid information and put it together so that you can throw your point across. As you work on assignments, you'll have fellow peers edit your work and vice versa, allowing you to further broaden your ideas and viewpoints and giving you the ability to see topics through all angles. As well, when working with work prompts, you'll be given the opportunity to put your compositions into different genres and forms, allowing for exploration in ways you wouldn't have thought to do with your writing. For me, using this skill I learned in English 120, it'll help me continue my education through UNM. I'll be making essays that I'll further be able to develop and explain. My research papers will be filled with accurate, up-to-date information that people will be able to trust. I'll be able to write better content for other works that come across in my life, like my YouTube channel or any songs that I happen to maybe write. I'll have the ability to access information, make it mine, and share what I've learned better than I could have when I graduated high school. I'll take writing an essay on paper to other platforms like radio, video, speeches. And with the ability to articulate, organize, and find information, more opportunities and doors will open for me. Not just for me, for you as well, my fellow LOBO pack members. English 120 will be a stepping stone for me and all of us to grow further as a person. And since my degree will be in early childhood multicultural education, I'll be able to be a better educator, which is probably a big deal considering I'll be taking what I learned and teaching our younger generation so that they can be even better than us. Now, onto the course outcomes that I worked on and developed through this class. Now I know, if any of you have taken English 110 or English 120, and that's about as far as I know, because those are the only 2 English classes that I've taken, but I assume, maybe, that the other English classes will also be like this, and you'll have to go over course outcomes, how you used it, how you developed it, and what you learned from it. So I'm going to be talking about 5 course outcomes that I used, that I thought, and that I applied into my work. The first one's going to be SLOA, Rhetorical Situation and Genre. Now, for those of you who don't know, this is the outcome that deals with analyzing, composing, and reflecting on arguments from different types of genres, mediums, and technologies that are appropriate to what you may be writing about. An example of this that I used in my English class would be my final for English itself. I went over all my work, how I made it, and then went and adapted it into another form. So I wrote my major writing assignment 1, and then I changed it into a video, which is pretty cool. Identifying the rhetorical situation and genre, then changing it to fit the needs that I needed. So you can change from writing into video to music, anything you can really imagine. Another way that I worked on this SLO was when I had to watch, analyze a trailer, and find the patterns in it. When I think about it, I use this in everything I do. By knowing about the technicalities in anything, whether movies, music, writing, and even sports, then you'll be given an advantage in a way. Through this, you can come up with your own thoughts, find solutions to problems, and communicate effectively with others on any topic. You don't have to be an expert about it. But if you do know how to break down your thoughts and topic ideas, then you have the world at your fingers. And the second SLO is SLOC, writing as a process. This is where you use different approaches to the writing process, like research, revision, and collaboration in order to make your work stronger in any medium. This is something that we're always going to use when we write, and even when we speak. All through the semester, I would write, rewrite, check, proofread, get feedback, rewrite, and so on until the end date for the paper came, or until I was satisfied with what I'd written. It's something that can't be avoided in what we do subconsciously. And when making documentary towards the end of the semester, I had to rewrite and replan and find more information so that my group and I could make a nice video. I mean, and it all just wasn't on me, it was my group, which I'm sorry, group, if you're listening to this, I put you through quite a bit. But I can probably say our videos were one of the best in class, so good job us. But having peer review or group member feedback is usually the most helpful when writing. And I know sometimes it can be embarrassing, but after you see through a different person's eyes what you wrote, well then you can make it much better. And really the embarrassment's only gonna be for maybe a few short minutes that they're reading it. I mean, who wants other peers read what you wrote when you think to yourself, oh, it's already awful? It's hard, but it helps a lot. Just get with it. Another reflection that we'll be going over is SLOF, reflection. This is the evaluation of your development as a writer over time and how writing using different genres and mediums can be applied to other contexts to go further. In terms of writing, I use this outcome at the beginning of the semester in small writing assignment 1, 2, and my major writing assignment that I am creating a revision for. When we had to write in SWA1, we had to write an I believe statement on a community topic or controversy. Then later, when we had to write our final say on our topic, I had to go back to what I had already written to see what I could do with it, what I could add, what I could take away, what I could expand. And again, now that I'm working on my final, going back to see what I had originally written, what I think is important to add as a writer and as a student. Seeing how you've grown since a long time gives enlightenment and helps with what you're currently writing. Just going back and seeing how awful my reflections to SLOs looked at the beginning of the semester helped me to see how I could improve my cover page for this final. Even now, as I wrote my outline to help me with this podcast, I thought back to old reviews and writing in order to sound like I know what I'm doing, which I like to think that I know what I'm doing. Now, I know it can seem like it takes a lot of time, but this is something that we all need to do. And it doesn't just apply to writing, but to everything we do. Math, history, our emotions, our thoughts. Going back and reflecting about who we are as a person helps us to grow. And doing this with our writing will really help us make bigger connections and cause greater impacts in our future day-to-day lives. Whether you're working at a small corporation or if you are president, you need to be able to look back. That way you can know how you can further yourself in the future. Another SLO is SLOG, research. Now, there are 2 research SLOs that I'm going to be going over that I think I successfully used and learned from. The first one being research, which is using writing and research as a way to discover and examine personal beliefs and different perspectives, to explore questions through mediums and technologies. I used this in a big part of Sequence 1, which was SLO 1 and 2, and my major writing assignment 1. When I had to find my view on the topic, then find the opposing side, it was hard. Not the first one, but the opposing side. Usually when you believe something, you don't want to change it for another thing, but really going through and seeing all sides of this, I believe I came out a better person, you know? And that's not something a lot of us do easily. Going back and seeing the other side, a lot of us like to just stick with what we know and what we believe in, but this really helps. And for me, I ended up changing my view on the topic that I was writing about to the other side through the discoveries I made and self-reflection on what I believed in. It changed, but it only changed with the fact that I went out and I researched it and I saw all these different viewpoints, and it really helps. And with all sides, I was able to create my own opinion and beliefs. Then I used what I knew to incorporate it through different mediums. First, I wrote it in my composition, and now I'm making a YouTube video with it. It's really amazing what you can change and what you can do with just writing and how you can flourish from that medium. Being informed of all sides will allow you to broaden your viewpoints and will allow different kinds of knowledge in all areas, making you a more desirable company to have. I mean, who doesn't want to talk with someone who knows what they're talking about or has research into different interests that maybe they didn't know before? And just know you're never going to know too much unless you get tangled in with like the mafia or crime. Then try not to know too much. Now the second SLO is SLO 1, which is another research SLO. Now the difference between that, the one that we just discussed, and this is that this is where you write research-based arguments in various mediums by identifying, analyzing, evaluating, and synthesizing all different kinds of sources. For this SLO, the same can be said as the one mentioned before, but this deals with the information gathered itself, the information that you're using in your paper. In Sequence 1, we went through a list of things to look for when finding sources that were reliable. We had to go through many websites and file through a lot of information until we could find sources that were closest to the truth or were the truth before you can start incorporating what we found into our work. This is detrimental if you want to speak about anything. If you're misinformed, then others will see no reason to talk with you and you'll appear ignorant, which you will be. It takes a little longer to find valuable information, but once you have it, then you have it, which is different to having different beliefs. If you're incorrect about information or you use unreliable information, then you're willingly staying ignorant to what's around you. leading to social isolation in many ways. So study up. Now, going through all those SLOs, thinking about it, they all connect. Without finding the proper research or the reliable research, you won't be able to write or find your beliefs on a subject or topic, because then you'd just be misinformed and you won't really have a place to say anything. And without that, then you can't, then as you write, even if it's the most amazing thing you've ever written, no one's going to want to read it. Wrong information in your amazingly awesome paper, when you reflect back on it, it'll all be for naught. And really, after going through all of that, to just have everything fall apart because the information is wrong or the source was unreliable, it's not something that anyone really wants. It seems like a lot and really bothersome at the beginning, but when you get to the end and you piece everything together, like through the final, you'll see that it was all worth something. Well, that's all I have to say on this topic. Now, I know this wasn't as interesting as the other topics that we've gone over in previous shows, but sometimes it's important to talk about the academics that we go through in university than what kind of basketball games are happening or what kind of football game. Just taking the time to listen to others and then use that to reflect on ourselves would be very helpful to us. Sharing is caring, and by reflecting with our fellow pack members, then we become stronger and closer, letting us conquer any obstacle, whether through help, information, experience, or support. Now, enough of this happiness. Thanks for tuning in to our LOBO Podcast, and have a wonderful break and Christmas for those who do celebrate it. Tune in back with us next semester when we go over any and everything that's happening.